What are ratios? That's what we'll be going over in today's Wrath of Math lesson. We'll be going over what they are, how to use them, how to write them, and more. This is a viewer-requested video requested by Keith Plays. Always appreciate those viewer requests, so be sure to leave yours down in the comments. Also, Keith has been kind enough to come by a few of my live streams. I definitely recommend you subscribe so you don't miss those live streams where you can come and ask your math questions live. There's really not much like it on YouTube. Don't overthink what ratios are. A ratio is just a way of comparing one amount to another, or a way of comparing one number to another. For example, look at this sequence of squares we've got on screen. What is the ratio of green squares to orange squares? Answering that question is very simple. There are 1, 2, 3 green squares and 1 orange square. So the ratio of green squares to orange squares is 3 to 1, which we can write like this. 3 green squares to 1 orange square. And notice that this response mimics how I asked the question. I asked, what's the ratio of green squares to orange squares? To answer the question, we just count the number of green squares, count the number of orange squares, and say the ratio. 3 green squares to 1 orange square. A quicker way we could write this ratio would be to not include the units and just write the amounts. So we could write the ratio as 3:1. And as long as we know that this is the ratio of green squares to orange squares, we don't lose any information by removing the units. We still know that for every 3 green squares, there is exactly 1 orange square. A third way we could write it would be as a fraction, so we could write it as 3/1, a ratio of 3 green squares to 1 orange square. And notice, this is why numbers that can be written as fractions are called rational numbers. If a number is rational, that means it can be written as a fraction, or written in terms of a ratio, so that's where that comes from. If we were asked to give the ratio of orange squares to green squares, what would that be? Well, it would almost be the same, we'd just have to flip the order. So, in this form, the ratio would be a ratio of 1 to 3, 1 orange square to 3 green squares. In our written out form, we just have to flip the green squares and orange squares around, so again, the ratio would be 1 orange square to 3 green squares. And in the form of a fraction, of course, it would just be 1/3. So changing the order is very simple, but it's definitely something you'll want to make sure you're paying attention to when you're doing problems that involve ratios. To be more clear about what a ratio does, specifically, it tells us how two quantities relate. This ratio, for example, relates orange squares to green squares. It tells us that for every 1 orange, there are 3 green squares. But it doesn't necessarily tell us the number of orange and green squares. You might be wondering, how could that be? Clearly, the ratio says there's 1 orange square, which there is, and there are 3 green squares, which there are. But here's the thing, ratios can sort of be scaled up or scaled down. For example, imagine we make a copy of this, and now we've got 2 of what we had before, sort of double the number of squares. What is the ratio of orange squares to green squares now? You could just count them up and say there are 2 orange squares, 6 green squares, so the ratio is 2 to 6, or a fraction of 2/6. However, do you remember how we can reduce fractions? Well, we can do the same thing with ratios, which is part of why it's useful to write them as fractions. In particular, this fraction isn't reduced, because both the numerator and denominator have a common factor greater than 1. They're both divisible by 2, so if we divide the numerator and denominator by 2, we'll get an equal fraction that describes a similar relationship. In this case, 2 divided by 2 is 1, that's what we'll have in the numerator, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. And we get the same ratio that we had before, 1 to 3. And it turns out, for our new situation, both of these ratios are correct, 2 to 6 and 1 to 3. There are 2 orange squares for every 6 green squares. However, it's still also the case that there is 1 orange square for every 3 green squares. I mean, look at this. There's 1 orange square, 1, 2, 3 green squares, 1 more orange square, 1, 2, 3 green squares. So it's still the case that for each single orange square, there are 3 green squares. So remember, ratios describe how quantities relate, but they don't necessarily tell us the exact number of either quantity, although in certain situations they can be used to find those numbers. And notice, in the same way that we scaled down the ratio of 2 to 6 by dividing the numerator and denominator by 2 to get our ratio of 1 to 3, we could scale up the ratio of 1 to 3 by multiplying the numerator and denominator by 2 to get us to a ratio of 2 to 6. And there are several different reasons we might want to do that. I'll explain one near the end of the lesson. So that's what ratios are, pretty straightforward. Let's see a couple more examples to get some good practice in. A class has 8 boys and 4 girls. What is the ratio of girls to boys? There's a second question here, but let's just worry about the first question first. What's the ratio of girls to boys? Super simple. We're given that there are 4 girls and 8 boys. So the ratio of girls to boys is 4 to 8. We could write like that with the colon. We could write 4 to 8. We could write 4 girls to 8 boys. We could write it as a fraction, 4 over 8, all sorts of options. And pay attention to the order here. We were asked for the ratio of girls to boys. So that's the order in which we give the ratio. 4 girls to 8 boys. So it's as simple as that. And if we want to reduce this ratio, which is something you'll often be asked to do, it's exactly the same as simplifying or reducing fractions. We just need to identify common factors between the numerator and denominator greater than 1. In particular, we would like to find their greatest common factor. The factors of 4 are 1, 2, and 4. The factors of 8 are 1, 2, 4, and 8, so their greatest common factor is 4. Thus, we can reduce the fraction or ratio by dividing the numerator and denominator both by their greatest common factor. Divide by 4, divide by 4, and we get our new reduced ratio of 4 divided by 4, which is 1, over 8 divided by 4, which is 2, a ratio of 1 to 2. So far, what we've been talking about are what could be called part-to-part ratios. Notice with this first question, we're not concerned with the total number of students. That's not part of our ratio. We've only related the part of students that are girls, 1 part, to the part of students that are boys, 2 parts. In other words, there's 1 girl for every 2 boys. And we were doing the same thing in our example above. We could think of this as a big rectangle with 8 pieces. That makes up the whole, but we weren't concerned with the whole 8 pieces. Our ratio 2 to 6, for example, related the orange part to the green part. However, we could have also given a ratio for the number of orange squares to the total number of squares. Since there are 2 orange squares and 8 squares total, that ratio would have been 2 to 8, or 1 to 4 if we reduced the ratio. In other words, 1/4 of the squares are orange. And we can do the same sort of thing with this next part of the question down here. And this is what you might call a part-to-whole ratio. So the next part of the question is, what is the ratio of girls to the total number of students, the whole number of students? Since there are 8 boys and 4 girls, we can find the total number of students by adding those numbers together. So the total number of students is 12. Then we just make our ratio. We're looking for the ratio of girls to the total number of students, so we have our number of girls, 4, and then the total number of students, 12. Notice we could also reduce this ratio to 1/3, and it's kind of awkward to reduce a ratio that is not in fraction form, which is why this form is so handy. We could reduce it to 1/3 by dividing the numerator and denominator both by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1, 12 divided by 4 is 3. So 1 out of every 3 students is a girl. Let's quickly go over a fun little example of how we can use ratios to find an unknown number. We were just talking about a particular class and the ratio of girls to boys in that class. But let's assume there are 99 students in the entire school and that the ratio of girls to boys is the same among the whole student body. In other words, the ratio that we just found of 1 girl to every 3 students, this ratio is true for the entire school, not just the single class we were talking about. Then, knowing that there's 1 girl for every 3 students in the school, and there are 99 students in the school, how many girls are there in the school? We can solve this problem easily by scaling our ratio up. We've got a ratio in terms of 3 students. There are 99 students in the school. 99 divided by 3 is 33. So if we scale this ratio up by a factor of 33, we'll have a ratio in terms of the entire 99 student body. So here's what I mean. We multiply both numbers by 33. So then on the right side of our ratio, we have 99 students, which is the total number in the school. And on the left, we get our answer, 33 times 1, so 33 girls. Since there's 1 girl for every 3 students, and there are 99 students in the school, there must be 33 girls among those 99 students. So that's an example of how we can scale a ratio. In this case, we scaled it up in order to find an actual number of girls among a number of students. Another example of when you might want to scale a ratio up or down is when you're using a recipe to cook something. Imagine you're making tacos and you've got to use 2 packets of taco seasoning for every pound of beef. But you want to make 2 pounds of beef. Well, if the ratio is 2 packets to each 1 pound of beef, and you want to make 2 pounds of beef, then you would multiply both parts of this ratio by 2, and you'd have a ratio of 4 to 2. In other words, for 2 pounds of beef, you'll need 4 packets of taco seasoning. By the way, one last thing I'll point out. Notice, if we wrote this ratio as a ratio with just numbers, so 2 packets of taco seasoning to 1 pound of beef, this is called a unit ratio because the second number in the ratio is 1. In other words, the second number of the ratio is a single unit, and in this case, that unit is the pound. Another very common unit ratio you might be familiar with is miles per hour. And given a certain speed, like 50 miles per hour, you could scale this up to the total number of miles traveled in 3 hours, for example, by multiplying both parts of the ratio by 3. Which would mean that you could travel 150 miles per 3 hours. Prices are often given as unit ratios as well, like $2 per gallon of gasoline. So when you see the word per, there's a good chance that a ratio or maybe a relaxed cat is involved. One last example that I'll just leave with you to think about and will not explain is percent. Percentages are also ratios. Let me know if you can explain why that is in the comments. So I hope this video helped you understand what ratios are and a bit about how to write them and how to use them. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, need anything clarified, or have any other video requests. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time, and be sure to subscribe for the swankiest math lessons on the internet. And a big thanks to Valo, who, upon my request, kindly gave me permission to use his music in my math lessons. Links to his music in the description.